do to me?
You a fuck nigga, stay up in your lane.
South side, been ready. North side. Oh, love one and one love. I don't care what they say about. Don't care what they say about. My damn lighter. Hey yo, what's good, you guys? Welcome to Bali Star on Boomer, and today we're getting into the philosophy of IDW Sonic. You feel me? So yeah, man, let's get straight on into it. Make sure to leave a like, support the video if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new, so we can join up with the all-star gang up in this thing. Let's get straight on into it, man. Let's go.
I have a question for you. Would you rather be free or would you rather be happy? I've been mulling over this for a little while now, and like me, I'm sure many of you can quickly see how this question is faulty. Answering can lend itself to black and white thinking, and can fail to take into account the nuances of life. But I do think there's some truth to this question. It seems that happiness and freedom are often pitted against each other. On the surface, they're both considered positives, but like magnets of the same force, they repel one another. Man has struggled to answer this riddle of the soul, so maybe we shouldn't look to man, but instead, a hedgehog? I'm sorry guys, I know this is cringe, but you know what? Actually, I don't have an excuse. This video's fun! For me at least. Out of the volumes of literary works that have dived into this mystery, who would have thought that the Sonic comics would be among them? Sonic has an answer to this question, and many people are not happy with it. So in this video, we'll explore Sonic's philosophy and its potential consequences. In issue 50 of the Sonic IDW series, we find our hero Sonic in an intense battle with another speedster, Surge. But this fight is more than just a battle of speed or power. It's a clashing of ideologies. For Surge, this fight is a duel to the death. But for Sonic, it seems like this battle is just a game. Surge asks Sonic how he could treat this fight so flippantly. Sonic tells her that he's been down this road plenty of times before. The world has wronged me, so I'm gonna destroy it shtick has grown mundane for the Hedgehog. Hearing this, Surge tells Sonic to just end it. This is code for kill me. In Surge's mind, she's like, well, I'm clearly a threat to you and those you care about. Why don't you just kill me and be done with it? Why create this unnecessary risk of keeping me alive? So here's where things get interesting. Sonic tells her that he's not going to do that. Instead, he's going to give her a chance to amend her ways, and then proceeds to give a whole spiel on the reason why. I live for the moment. I want to see the world, find all its thrills and adventures, and enjoy them. I want everyone to have the freedom to do that too. And you wouldn't get that opportunity if I took that chance away from you. I've made peace with enough enemies to know there's a better way. So I'm willing to chalk this up to a rocky start, and let us have a do-over, if you will. Surge hears Sonic's monologue and thinks it's pretty stupid. She says, well, in that case, I'm gonna use my freedom to destroy you and everyone and everything. Sonic's like, okay, you have the right to do that, but I also have the right to stop you. For Sonic, Surge's actions will lead to the freedom of others being taken away, and according to his philosophy, he has the right to intervene. The two have reached an impasse, and all that can be done now is for them to continue their battle. The fight eventually ends with Surge hanging on a ledge, but before she's able to pick herself up, debris falls from the ceiling and collapses on top of her, causing her to fall into the void. Look, I don't know about you, but that was a lot to take in. From these panels, we get a clearer picture of who Sonic is and what he stands for. And as I've stated earlier in this video, many readers hate what they see. To them, this version of Sonic is a jerk, and is a total contradiction of his past interpretations. He seems to show very little empathy for Surge and her past issues. For some readers, Surge is in the right. Sonic and his philosophy is smug and irresponsible. Readers interpret his monologue as a display of moral grandstanding, as Sonic can be seen literally standing over Surge, touting his moral superiority. For me, the core problem people have with this comic is philosophical by nature. Yeah, people have an issue with how Sonic is represented in the comics, but much like us, it's his philosophy that informs his character. The comic has opened up a dialogue that has been going on, honestly, since the dawn of mankind. The problem of free will, and man's incompetence of handling it.
Sonic says free will is a weight that man cannot bear.
Now, as a caveat, Ian Flynn never intended for this issue to be a defense of Sonic's worldview. He's even stated in one podcast that Sonic's argument with Surge shouldn't be taken too seriously, as this comic is aimed for 12-year-olds.
We're not going to be able to answer these high-level moral questions that humanity has been grappling with since we had an understanding of morality to begin with in a Sonic book. This is introductory level.
Ian has said that if we want to understand the philosophies brought up by the comic, go read other books, which, lucky for you, I've already done. Sonic and Surge's words echo a dialogue that has been examined in 2 different novels. The first one we'll look into is considered by many as one of the greatest pieces of literature ever created. The Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky. The specific chapter we'll look into is considered by many as the best chapter of the book, the Grand Inquisitor. As the name implies, the Grand Inquisitor is grand in its scope and with what ideas it tries to explore and convey. This chapter is so dense with meaning that scholars continue to unearth new lessons from its depth. And we're not going to do that. We don't have the time, and honestly, I don't think I have the brain power to do so. My goal is to give a basic summary of the chapter, its themes, and how these themes relate to Sonic and Surge. Look, I know that what I'm about to get into can be overwhelming, but I urge you guys to stick around. The information I'm about to share is very important for understanding the video. So with that out of the way, the Grand Inquisitor. The Grand Inquisitor begins with Christ returning to the world during the Spanish Inquisition, and after being on hiatus, Jesus is back doing what he does best. Curing the sick, making the blind see, raising people from the dead, you know, the whole shebang. So as you can imagine, everyone's happy with this, right? Well, no. In this story, out of everyone, it's the Catholic Church that hates what Jesus is doing. And the main accuser is the Grand Inquisitor. He sees Jesus performing these miracles and he's like, nope. So he locks Jesus up in prison where he plans to execute him the next day. For some listening to this story, you might be thinking, isn't the whole point of the church to worship Jesus? If you're the church, you have to at least like Jesus, right? But to hate him to the point where you're gonna kill him, again, that goes completely against your mission statement. And you guys are correct in pointing out this blatant hypocrisy. But according to the Inquisitor, the Church's response is justified. The return of Jesus disrupts the established order. The Inquisitor tells him, hey, when you left the world, we had to take over your job. And you know what? We did your job way better. And the way we accomplished this is by taking away people's freedom. You giving people free will, that was a bad idea. You think too highly of people. You respect humanity too much. And we don't. Remember the time when you denied Satan's temptations in the desert? Well, we didn't. Instead, we decided to follow his advice because he knows what he's talking about. And ever since we made that decision, everything has been better. People don't have to think for themselves, there's no disorder, everyone agrees with each other, and for the most part, people are happier. Everyone is safer because of us. Now, if you've been listening, you can quickly see the similarities between Surge's sentiments and the Inquisitor's. Like the Inquisitor, Surge berates Sonic. How could he give this much freedom to people, especially towards his enemies? It's completely irresponsible. Think about how many problems would go away if you just got rid of these people. Think about how many of Sonic's friends have suffered or will suffer because of his idealization of freedom. To Sonic, a person's freedom is sacred and shouldn't be violated, no matter who they are. And this philosophy is very fitting for the character. Like him, freedom is dangerous, and it's wild. I mean, think about it practically. Free will can easily lead into disorder, and eventually, chaos. Free will gives you the power to do great good or great evil, but many will choose the latter. In the Sonic universe, there's one individual that's proven Surge's argument time and time again. He's the antithesis of Sonic's philosophy. We all know him, Sonic's arch-nemesis, Dr. Eggman. Since the beginning, Dr. Eggman has been plotting to enslave the world with his technology. In issue 16 of the IDW comics, we see Eggman's most diabolical invention yet, a metal virus that transforms organisms into robotic slaves, also known as Zombots. Whether intentional or not, Sonic and Eggman's clashing philosophies is present in another literary classic, Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Like my summary of the Grand Inquisitor, I'll focus on just one chapter of Brave New World, and how it connects to Sonic's relationship with Dr. Eggman. So, Brave New World is set in the utopian version of London, where everything is perfect. I'm putting perfect in quotes here. In this future, technology has advanced to the point where anyone can pretty much get everything they want. Everyone is happy. I'm also putting happy in quotes here. And whenever people do get sad, they just take a drug that recalibrates their emotions. London is in perfect order because everything and everyone is governed under the world state. Within the world state is a small group of individuals called the world controllers, which, as the name implies, this group controls every aspect of a person's life and the environment they live in. The story takes a dramatic turn when a guy named John shows up. John is known as a savage. It comes from a place called the Savage Reservation. This reservation is the complete opposite of London. While London is technologically advanced and stable, the Savage Reservation is primitive and wild. With this background in mind, the story culminates to John meeting the world controller of London, Mustafa Mond. And as you'll quickly see, John's relationship with Mustafa Mond mirrors closely to Sonic's relationship with Dr. Eggman. John tells Mustafa that the world state is corrupt. To predestine the lives of people and to force them to fit into the world state's vision is evil. Mustafa understands where John is coming from and even empathizes with him. But he counters John's judgment by asserting that the world has never been better, and this is all thanks to the world state. Through advanced technology and genetic engineering, nearly all physical ailments and diseases have been eliminated. Everyone's basic needs are met. There's no more threat of war, no fear of poverty, and ultimately, no more suffering. Everyone and everything runs like a well-oiled machine. Now, let's look back into issue 16 of the IDW comics. Listen to Dr. Eggman's monologue. Here is where the metal virus will be distributed to the filthy, regular world below. Soon everything will be perfected. No more illness, no more hunger, and best of all, no more free will. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds a lot like what Mustafa Mond had to say to John. Like Mustafa, Eggman is using technology to eradicate hunger, illness, and inequality, all at the cost of ridding free will. In a way, I think Sonic wants what Eggman wants. They both have a desire for harmony, but Eggman and Sonic's visions of the world come at a cost. For the Doctor, it's the erasure of free will. Eggman stamping out a person's freedom will accomplish harmony, but it's hollow. And I think deep down, we all know this act infringes something sacred within us. For Sonic, harmony comes at the cost of suffering. His vision for the world isn't safety or comfort, but for everyone's right to live life to the fullest. Now you may say, well, what about what Surge said?
This sort of reminds me of I'll be looking at certain like Pokemon games, and I come across someone called Black and White, and I saw somewhere it was like the meaning behind that game was between truth and ideologies. It's like, it's like what I'm seeing here, like the ideology, you know what I'm saying, of making a perfect world and all that stuff. But the truth is, we're put here on this earth to be free, to be us. You know what I'm saying? And it's ideologies that keep that from happening. But it's like, or there are ways to make it, it's just basically taking away free will at the expense of making society better. Again, truth versus ideology, man. Ideologies.
Why not just let the good guys have this right and just get rid of the bad guys? I think a big reason why Sonic would disagree with this answer is that it doesn't actually lead to harmony. Harmony is about everyone living together in peace. This includes the bad guys. Sonic's decision to let his enemies live is giving them a chance for redemption, and is a step closer towards real harmony. Peace is the end goal, and for the peace to be real, it needs to be a choice made by everyone. But like Ian Flynn, my video isn't meant to be a defense of Sonic's philosophy. I actually agree with a lot of people's criticisms. My video is meant more to be an exploration of the character and the story. And at the end of the day, these are just my interpretations. So I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you guys are into this philosophical analysis stuff, I already made an in-depth analysis of Shadow's philosophy. You can watch the video by clicking here. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It helps.
Keep that out. Alright, you guys, so that was the philosophy of IDW Sonic. The philosophy. Yeah, man. Y'all let me know your thoughts about it down in the comment section down below, man. I thought this video was definitely interesting and I didn't know all this lore he was giving behind that, you know what I'm saying? I remember reading, because it's I don't know why, man. I just happened to stumble upon IDW Sonic, I don't think earlier this year, or maybe late last year. And you know, I saw these panels of him fighting this Surge person. I was like, okay. I mean, I never really dove deep into it like that. I was mostly just like read it for the action. But yeah, no, that's crazy, dude. That's crazy. But again, y'all let me know your thoughts about it down in the comment section down below. You already know it's Boomer. And this has been Bali Star, you dig? So make sure to leave a like, support the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new, so that we've been up with the all-star gang up in this thing. Brand new album, The Cursed Blessing Deluxe. It's out here. It's out now. And it's outside. Go get that. Oh!